Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the, advice for would-be expats, especially younger. This is for younger folks. I'm not talking about folks that are up over the 50-year threshold for retirement visas. You guys are in a bit of a different category with respect to the analysis on your overall situation. I'm talking to younger guys. And primarily men, although there are women that expatriate to Thailand. But for those folks, I think a lot of people, they come into Thailand looking to, I think they come into Thailand they come in with a lot of preconceived notions. That's a bad idea. I've done a lot of videos on preconceived notions with respect to Thai law. It is a different kettle of fish. I was watching a film the other night, a Broke Down Palace, and while parts of it I really didn't like and I didn't feel like it put the country in the proper light, there were a few nuggets in there that, were interesting, and most notably they were dealing with the Thai legal system and the main. I've thought about doing a video on maybe a movie review on that film because there's big swaths of it that are really off. I think they captured a really distorted view of Thailand, in my opinion. But then there were some other things that I gained. There was some insight, and it's because of the interaction between a foreign paradigm and the Thai paradigm. And for example, they made a lot of presumptions about the way the Thai legal system works. And believe me, in many ways it works very differently to the Western system, and I made videos on that. But again, to get back to the main point of this, advice for younger expats. A lot of guys come in, folks come in, and they seem to come in with a lot of preconceived notions, things they've read on the internet, and they think it just works. That's the way America is, or wherever they come from, and you just go down and fill out a piece of paper and you get your XYZ. Well, oftentimes that's not particularly the case. The other thing is, I've heard it said, sometimes you got to go a long way around to come a short distance the way back. And there's a lot of that can go on, and if you're thinking ahead when you come here, it's a very good idea to put yourself in a position where you will be on a good long-term track rather than just sort of a short-term expedience. And what am I talking about? Well, and I'm not using this as an example to cast aspersions at Thailand Elite, for example, but Thailand Elite, it does not confer permanent residence. People think that it does. It also does not confer work authorization, and people think that it does. There is a path, if you will, to permanent residence in Thailand. There's even, in a way, a path to citizenship in Thailand, wherein if you get in the right status, for example, you get work authorized, you have the right non-immigrant status, you may be self-employed, you may be working for someone, or some company, but if you keep an eye on your visa status long-term, you can put yourself in a position, true permanent residence in Thailand, in my opinion, is qualitatively better than, for example, elite visa status insofar as you're a PR. You're done dealing with your visa. You have a long-term visa. You are a resident in Thailand. You're finished with that. You're covered under a different section of the Immigration Act. You're not dealing with things like 90-day reporting and TM30. Now, yes, there is kind of a long distance to go around, in a sense, to get that, insofar as getting into business visa status, perhaps having your own company, work permit, etc., and then doing your time before you can apply for PR. But long term, it's a far more secure option, especially for younger guys in Thailand where, again, where you're getting up around the retirement visa age, that may be the long-term solution. But if you're younger, in your 20s or your 30s, now, you've got time before you're going to get to 50. You might as well get into PR status, in my opinion, in many cases. Every case is different, obviously. And one of the big reasons for that is, and retirees will tell you, renewing a retirement visa, it can be a little bit of a stressful endeavor. Whereas if you're just a PR in Thailand, or for that matter, a citizen, if you get to that point, yeah, you're done worrying about those issues on a regular basis.